Seneca once said, "Little is needed to live according to nature. Everything else is vanity or servitude." And most men today live enslaved by a lie that without money, they are worthless. Society shoved that idea down their throats, and many swallowed it. Worse, they began to believe they need to bow emotionally just to deserve attention, respect, and love. This video isn't about cheap self-help. It's about reclaiming something that should have never been up for negotiation: your presence as a man. You may be unemployed, in debt, with empty pockets, but if your chest is lifted, your gaze is steady, and your mission is alive, you already hold more value than many who have money, but lost their soul trying to buy approval. The pain you feel may not even be about a woman's absence. It's the shattered mirror of your own identity. You look at yourself and no longer see strength. You feel small because you can't afford dinner or gifts or to show results. But hear me clearly. What kills a woman's desire isn't your current condition. It's the way you react to it. Because deep down, what every woman truly wants is not the man who has everything. It's the man who knows exactly what he's building, the man who doesn't need saving, because even when he's down, he's already decided to rise. And that kind of man isn't measured in dollars, he's felt in the soul. It all begins in a subtle detail. You're with her. The moment is simple, conversation flows, but deep in your mind a voice whispers, "She deserves more," and that thought sabotages everything. You start compensating, saying yes when you wanted to say no, accepting impositions, trying to prove your worth with gestures that don't come from your essence, but from your fear of losing her. The man who feels poor inside tries to show value on the outside, but that effort is read as weakness, not nobility. You think you're being generous, kind, romantic, but to her you're saying, "I'm not enough. Please accept me anyway." And that energy repels. Respect begins to evaporate the moment you make her the center and reduce yourself to a satellite. You become a man who seeks to please, not to lead, who accepts anything in the name of a love born out of fear, not choice. And saying, "I love you," isn't enough. Love that stems from insecurity is a sweet poison. You give everything, expecting validation, and when it doesn't come, you suffer, you collapse. Here's the brutal truth. She doesn't disrespect you because you're broke. She disrespects you because you act like being broke makes you lesser. You don't need more money right now. You need to reclaim your posture, because it's posture that sustains presence. And presence, not appearance, is what earns the respect of a real woman. The feminine mind doesn't fall for numbers. It connects with signals, and the most powerful signals are not found in your bank account, but in the firmness of your posture, in your tone of voice, in how you carry yourself. Science has already shown women are emotionally attracted to men who radiate clarity, purpose, and internal control. That's instinct, not opinion. A woman senses when a man is building something. She feels when his pockets are empty, but his future vision is full. And that's where desire is born, in the contrast between a hard present and the quiet confidence of a man who knows exactly where he's going. A man walking with direction, even without a car, is more attractive than one flaunting comfort, but lost inside. Because she doesn't just want material comfort, she craves emotional safety. And that doesn't come from what you have, it comes from what you hold. A poor man with center is magnetic, because his energy says, "I haven't arrived yet, but no one's stopping me." While the desperate man says, "Love me now because I've got nothing else to offer." One attracts through strength, the other repels through need. You don't need to prove anything. You need to project your mission so clearly that she feels she's in the presence of someone rare, someone who, despite having little, already carries so much. You grew up hearing a man needs to have a car, a house, status, but few ever told you, before having, you must be. And that's where most stumble. They chase everything that shines on the outside while forgetting to cultivate what burns inside. A woman doesn't give herself to what impresses. She gives herself to what holds. And what holds isn't a credit card, it's character, it's posture, it's that inner voice saying, I am my own pillar. The man who keeps trying to prove value with appearance becomes a supporting character in his own story. He gives too much, explains too much, offers himself before being chosen. And what happens? She starts seeing him as a lost boy, not a ready man. Because the man who carries conviction doesn't need to be convinced, and that's what confuses her. He may not be the richest, not the most handsome, but he's the most grounded. And grounded men spark desire. You want a woman who looks at you and thinks, this man has something that can't be bought. Well, that something is your center, your calm, your absence of desperation, your peace with your own reality. When a man isn't afraid to be exactly who he is, even with little, he becomes someone who radiates value just by existing. And that no brand label can buy, no gift can substitute, because it's soul to soul. It's not poverty that repels, it's a shamed posture. It's the self-pity speech. It's the man apologizing for every small gesture as if being simple were a crime. You don't need to apologize for offering coffee instead of an expensive dinner. What kills attraction isn't simplicity, it's insecurity disguised as humility. When you say, sorry, this is all I can do today, what she hears is, I'm not enough. Another fatal error. Trying to compensate with excessive attention, constant messages, unlimited availability. That only reveals you're trying to be loved through effort, because deep down you feel your essence wouldn't be enough. Lines like, you love me even like this, or one day I'll give you everything you deserve, aren't romantic. They're unconscious confessions of inferiority. So what do? Be direct, grounded, authentic. Don't hide your reality. Embrace it with dignity. Show that you're not stuck, that your life has movement, even if it lacks luxury. You don't need validation, you need clarity. And when she sees a man who, despite not having it all, hasn't lost his direction, respect is born. And desire follows closely behind. A man's body that respects itself needs no designer label to stand tall. He enters any room with what he carries inside, and that can't be bought. It's built, straight posture, steady gaze, voice with intention, a silence without anxiety. None of that costs money, but every gesture says, I don't need to prove anything, I'm building, and that's enough. The mind of a man who refuses to be defined by his bank account repeats one brutal truth. Everything I have came from my struggle, and everything I don't yet have will come from the same strength. He doesn't measure himself by what's missing. He recognizes himself by what he carries, and that's why he doesn't beg for attention. He attracts, not because he asks for it, but because his presence makes it impossible to ignore. And a woman feels that. When she does, something shifts. Because standing in front of her is a man who doesn't sell himself, who doesn't play victim, who doesn't need saving, and because of that, becomes deeply desirable. You're not less because you don't have. You only become less when you believe that makes you lesser. And that's when you lose the magnetism born of a deeper truth. The man who stands tall on the inside, even with little, is worth more than the one who flaunts out of fear of being fully seen. Seneca said, desired poverty is freedom, imposed poverty is slavery. And in the modern world, many men live chained not by an empty wallet, but by a poor spirit. You may not have much today. You might be starting from scratch. You may live with limits. But if you have steadiness, direction, and clarity about what you're building, then you already carry something no credit card can offer. Inner structure. The kind of woman worth having isn't looking for show, she's looking for security. And security isn't luxury, it's emotional order. It's the alignment between what a man says and how he lives. If you're broke, don't sell yourself cheap. Don't bow down. Don't try to buy attention with favors or love with submission, because the woman who's drawn to a grounded man, even without wealth, sees a project in motion, and that is rare, that is powerful. Finish with this reminder. The man who knows what he's building never begs for what he doesn't yet have. He just keeps going, and the world respects it. Build your greatness in silence. Live with honor. And understand, the right woman doesn't need luxury. She needs to look at you and feel, this man is going far, and I want to walk beside him. Even if today the road is still made of dirt, that's real value, and real value never fails.